So grateful that Stephanie is along with us, Life in
Yes.
Abundance, because all this stuff that's been going on. I mean, you've watched the news, you know, Floyd and all that other stuff
Yeah.
that's been going on. And by the way, this is going to be family friendly.
Yes.
Just to let you know, because we know your kids could be in the car along with you this morning, but how in the world do you discuss this along with your kids? And Stephanie's going to help us along with that. And how about protecting the kids? You know, there's all this violence in social media that we've been seeing. How do you walk through that?
This is a challenging time, and especially coming on the heels too of all of the COVID information that was out there. And we
Yeah.
talked one of the last times I was on about limiting exposure to news feeds and television. I mean, there's a lot of graphic images that are out there right now, not just on television, but on social media as well. And so I think limiting the exposure that kids have to all of that, because they're going to struggle to try to make sense of what they don't understand. And of course, everything being age appropriate is important as well.
Yeah.
That goes for adults too. Constant news headline checking and watching stuff all the time is not healthy for us. We want to be informed, but we don't want to become obsessive about checking headlines and watching things like that.
And should we really think through all of this? And I know we should before we talk to our children about it, to make sure that we consider everything and make sure it is age appropriate for them.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I would say too is that before you enter into any kind of discussion with your kids, make sure that you're in the right headspace also. When we're under anxiety and stress, and watching this unfold across our nation is stressful, and in our own hometown. And so make sure that you're ready before you enter into a discussion, because you may hear some things, depending on the ages of your children, that you're not prepared to hear. They may have differing opinions. They may have questions that you haven't thought of, and thinking through having a consistent kind of dialogue with your kids about this stuff, making sure that, your emotions are in check. They're going to mirror whatever it is that you're displaying to them in a conversation. So if you're angry, they're probably going to feel that way too, or not understand, or feel even worse, like they need to comfort you. And that's a heavy responsibility for children when they feel like they've got to comfort their parents.
Yeah, one thing you say is assume your kids already are aware of what's going on.
Yeah. Even with quarantine, everybody's sort of getting back to some things now. And it appears that your kids are going to have heard some things when they leave your house. You can't be around them all the time. And so they have friends that are going to say things to them. They have, social media accounts. Many of them at a certain age have that. And so they're going to hear something somewhere. If you're not the one that talks to your children, there's always somebody else in the wings who will. So it's a teachable time right now. It's a very teachable time right
for
now.
both of us, for parents and children. But, and of course, depending on how old your children are, we can limit their exposure, but that's going to look different, if you have a kindergartner or a senior in high school.
Right. So I was talking with another counselor with our practice, Angel Henning, and she and I were discussing sort of what she's doing with her family right now. And she has, some older children, but there's one that's around 12. And so we were talking about best practices. And typically, if your child is in grade school, you really want to shelter from the images on TV and the, social media and that kind of stuff. Go by their individuality as far as their emotional ability and their intellectual ability. Every child's different, but typically grade school, you want to really cut that. Moving into junior high and high school, limiting things. In fact, she schedules with her family, she schedules breaks with her daughter. And they schedule to just put their phones down and go and do different things, to lighten what they're looking at.
Stephanie Baker along with us with Life in Abundance Counseling as we talk about talking to our kids about what we've been walking through the past couple of days and what we've been seeing on TV. One thing you point out is conversations. You say be consistent, age appropriate, and just honest.
Yeah, absolutely. We have to explain at some point here that bad things do happen in this world, in this lifetime. I mean, it's scriptural. Jesus tells us that that's going to happen. But with your kids, you want to do so in a way that you're still reassuring, especially the younger ones, that they are safe and that they're protected. One of the things that you can do is sort of discuss that, yes, these things, if they're questioning or they seem to be afraid, you can discuss that this stuff is happening. It's not right outside they're with you, they're in your home, they're safe at the moment. Kind of normalize in that moment for them what they're thinking through. Put it in some perspective. I mean, yes, it's horrific, but we want to try to allow our home to be a safe place for our children. And the other thing that I want to mention is something called secondary trauma. Secondary trauma happens, it's emotional duress that's experienced by somebody as a result of prolonged exposure to details of somebody else's traumatic experience. It happened at 9/11 with video footage. There were a number of people that watched, significant clips of video footage of things, and they were experiencing secondary traumatic stress as well. And so that's when we're talking about protecting the younger kids and ourselves as well. That's underlying. That's one of the reasons that we're saying that.
Yeah. So what about the kids that say, I want to do something. I want to jump in and, help out or do this what do you say to that?
Well, first off, you want to encourage discussion around that and what they're feeling and what their perceptions are. You don't want to squash that. You don't want to squelch it. You actually really want to validate that they're wanting to do that. And then with them, help them try to find, help them with it, but help them try to find a positive way to get involved and to allow their voice to be heard. Within the community, there may be something going on with your church. There may be something going on with a peer group. And then that way you can help and make sure that what they're doing is wise and that it's safe. That's the key. But you want to allow them to have a voice. It's part of their it's part of their independence, and it's part of them breaking away from you a little bit as their think tank. They get to express and explore how they're feeling and processing.
Stephanie Baker along with us, Life in Abundance Counseling. You'll see all of these things that she's talking about and navigating a conversation with your child about what's going on the Rob and Liz blog that's at hisradio.com.
His Morning Crew.
Quite the remarkable task of a daughter.
Yes.
Helping out a dad the way that she did. Mohan is like an immigrant laborer, and he works really, really hard, but he got really injured on the job. This is in India. So he hobbled to the apartment where they were staying, and he told his 15-year-old, listen, I lost my job because I'm hurt. Now we're going to have to go to our village and stay there. They don't have a car, but they have a bike.
What do you do?
And he can't walk. He can't do anything. It's really tough. So she just put him on the bike, and she pedaled all the way to the village. From outside of New Delhi all the way to the village. It was quite a few miles.
Yeah, and they did about 100 miles a day, and then they would rest. He's on the seat, and she's sort of having to stand and pedal the whole way.
750 miles altogether. You thought 100 miles a day was like a lot. It was 750 miles altogether. And the bike cost $25.
Yeah, and they spent their last dollars to buy that bike so she could get him home. He needed his wife. He needed the rest of the family so he could recuperate.
The determination of a 15-year-old.
That she's going to take care of her daddy.
Yeah. Now the Cycling Federation has contacted her like, okay, number one, you need to be a professional cyclist.
Yeah.
Number two, we want to help you out.
Yeah.
And so they're helping him out with air conditioning and stuff like that to
Isn't
help
that
the dad.
crazy?
That is amazing. The determination of a 15-year-old going all that way to help out her dad.
His Morning Crew.
There is a guy in Australia, and I love this guy. He, for whatever reason, back around Christmas, he thought, I'm going to make a big, huge kookaburra.
Make a kookaburra.
Yeah, he was going to, I guess it's out of like wiring, and I don't even know the materials that he used. But he came up with this idea because he felt like it would bring cheer and happiness to people. Right?
A big kookaburra.
Kookaburra. Okay. I don't even know how to say it. But
you said it right.
He was going to, just kind of piddle around with it and get it done when he got it done. And then during the pandemic and the quarantine, he was at home a lot. And he said, you know what? I'm going to finish this thing. It's 15 feet high. It is 28 feet wide. 1,600 pounds. Like, he spent some major time on this thing.
What does he do with it?
Well, he drags it around. Not drags. He pulls it on a trailer. He sets it up at different maybe festivals. That's his plan for it.
Okay.
He's had it in the neighborhood. He's hoping that in August he gets to take it to a festival there in Australia, in their hometown.
So I'm going to guess he pulls it with a vehicle of some sort.
Yes, he's got his
Okay.
truck. It's on a trailer, and he pulls it through the neighborhood, and it has the most amazing sound because he put together a soundtrack.
Oh, no, he did not.
Yes, he did. He's got a soundtrack for it. Sounds like this.
See this gigantic thing driving down the road and hear that?
But doesn't it make you laugh? I think so. Like, it brings me joy.
No, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Sure. What?
That reminds me of a song.
What song?
Well, I'm trying to... Hold on. I'm telling you, that
Wait.
reminds me of a song.
Okay. Do you think? Wait, hold on.
Let me play it again.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it reminds me of.
That is his inspiration.
Was
There
it
we
the
go.
song Wipeout?
feel like going
Hopefully
to
he
the
doesn't
beach
wipe
now.
out that thing, right?
Oh, exactly. 1,500 pounds. No way.
Just for the record, this song, way before my time.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just to no, seriously.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Here's a couple of places I drive by when I go home every day. One is Krispy Kreme.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Ooh.
they have a line that is just, it seems like it's 2 miles long on the road, ready to go in through the drive-thru just to get the hot and fresh or whatever the sign says.
When that sign goes on, it's like a beacon in the night.
It's crazy. Rob and Liz on his radio. Good morning. The other place is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's like, this is like, have you noticed how organized they are?
Oh, my goodness. You think there's 40 cars in line. It's going to take forever. It's like 30 seconds.
You know what? I passed by it because I wanted to have some yesterday. And I went, oh, nuts, man. That line is long.
Man, they get you through that line.
With the tents and everything. And then they've got the masks that match their uniforms and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing they've made their reopen plans.
Yeah, it depends on which state you're in when the dining room is going to open. Of course, the drive-thru was open through the entire thing, but they're going to start allowing you to go into Chick-fil-A depending on where you are. A couple things are going to change. Everybody is getting a to-go bag. You're not going to be
No tray.
Right. You can
Okay.
eat there, but they're not going to give you the tray, so you're just going to get the bag. The condiments, they always used to put the crackers and the utensils and that kind of thing where everybody could get to them. Yeah, that's all behind the counter now. So you have to ask for each of those condiments
That's
that you need.
good to remember because I probably would forget to ask and then I have to
Sure.
stand in that long line again.
Exactly. Or go to the side and somebody will be right with you. I know. One thing that kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I love their diet lemonade. It is the best.
Don't tell me they're
Ever.
not there.
Yeah, they still have it. You just don't get a refill.
Oh, they're not doing
And
refills.
I get that.
That makes sense
It
because
does make sense.
I don't like it, but it makes sense to
Right.
keep people healthy because
Right.
you're not reusing the cup and if
Yeah.
germs and all that. Yeah.
Just go ahead and order the large.
Yeah.
And then you have it and you don't have to worry about getting a refill.
Or order multiple.
Exactly. If you're
Yeah.
that thirsty.
Yeah. And if
Thirsty
you
now thinking about
really
it.
want to go to the bathroom all day, buy 3 of them.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
What you're walking through, what you're going through, I promise. He knows, he cares, and he's here to protect. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. It's been awful turning on the news and seeing some of the stuff that's been going on in a lot of our cities.
Right. And people are asking for prayer as we walk through everything we're going through. But we saw this one peaceful protest in Milwaukee and just wanted to share a little bit of it with you.
Powerful moment as they're walking through downtown Milwaukee, singing this to God. They're getting closer. Something similar to this happened in Atlanta, I heard.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday that downtown Atlanta, and it was thousands of people, and they were singing to God as well.
His morning crew.
I don't understand why they are saying this about this one lady. It's Rob and Liz, his morning crew on his radio. No, I'm not talking about Liz. I'm talking about this guy's wife.
Who packs his lunch? She, the wife, lives in Australia. She went on Facebook because she was super proud of the lunch that she packed for her husband. And evidently she does it every day. She puts little notes in there. She makes it very healthy and a variety. Well, she got wife shamed.
For packing
His
the husband's lunch?
And somebody commented and said something like, oh, we have to feed them at lunch too? As
She
though,
loves her husband. She just wants to do something for him. That's how I see that.
me too. And I know there's a lot of men that pack their wives' lunch. What is the anyway? So she got shamed over it, and I started thinking, that's just a little sweet thing that she does for her husband to show her love.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was asking some of my friends, does your husband do anything sweet for you, like on the regular? Maybe not every day, but just to show that they love you. Do you do anything?
That's shame-worthy.
Right? Why would you shame
That's
somebody
silly.
for loving
That's
somebody?
so silly.
Joey will put little magnolias or gardenias. I say magnolias, gardenias that grow
Is that
in
a
our
flower?
yard. Yeah, and he'll just pick them and put them in my car. And when I get in the morning, then it's the greatest smell in the world.
Yeah.
And I know that you do things for Amy. I mean, it may
I don't
have
do that. Joey, please don't show me up. What's he doing? He's showing me up.
No, he's not. It's
He's
just
showing me up. I
something
don't
that he
do stuff like
does.
that for Amy. I wish I did.
No, but I mean, people do things to show their love for each other.
Does your husband do seminars? Because I need to sit in a seminar from the guy. Here's what you do for your wife.
Yeah, he's
you
a
pick
good guy.
flowers out of the garden and put it in her car.
Yeah,
and she'll remember.
He moved my car into the garage last night. So see,
Well,
just because he was mowing the lawn. So
I need
he
to
did
be a little
that.
bit more thoughtful.
I think you probably are.
No, I
Maybe-
take out the trash.
But you know something that I know that you do in the morning, and I'm giving you that. I'm pointing at you. I'm sorry.
She is. She's like, you know what you do in the morning.
You do the dishes and fill the dishwasher. Do you
I
not?
I put the dishes away every morning. Yeah.
That
Is that a
for
sweet thing?
Amy, that is.
Should I leave a love
huge.
note in the dishwasher? I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Well, make sure maybe on the outside because she might just hit start and,
Yeah,
and then
true.
she never sees it. But I know that people do these sweet things for each other and want to brag on their spouse.
I don't
want to
think
know.
putting the dishes away was romantic.
I don't know.
What your husband does. I mean, that's awesome.
But when he moved the car into the garage, I wouldn't necessarily call that romantic.
No, the flower thing.
The flower thing, because
That's
he
cool.
knows that I absolutely, like, I'm too cheap to go out and buy flowers normally.
Mm-hmm.
But just having that smell and that he thought of me for a second
Okay.
is awesome.
So here's what okay.
Okay.
I don't know if I need advice,
Yeah.
but it would be neat to hear what your sweetheart does for you.
Yeah,
That
I
little
think
sweet
it would
thing.
be.
Yeah, so I don't know if it's lunch. I don't know if it's putting the dishes away. The flower in the car. Joey, you're killing me. The flower in the car,
Yeah.
that's her husband, by the
Yeah.
way. Mr. Romantic that shows all his other husbands up.
I have a friend whose husband brings her coffee every morning. Fixes her coffee the way that she likes it and brings it to her.
What about putting the trash out? Does that help? Does that work?
Yes.
Is that a thing?
Without
Okay.
having to ask. Now, if she says, Rob, you need to take, whatever.
That used to be a thing, but now I just do it.
Because you're like, this is important to her. This is her love language.
No, I just don't want her to say that anymore. I don't want to get.
Okay,
if I'm going to be honest about it.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
So Liz says earlier, hey, so my husband
Yeah.
puts flowers in my car, and they're waiting on me when I go off to work.
Yeah. Not all the time.
But
which-
enough.
But
enough.
Honestly, it makes it sometimes better because it's just so unexpected.
Mm-hmm.
But we were talking about this because this lady got shamed on Facebook because she made her husband lunch.
Every day. I don't get why she was shamed over that. I mean,
don't
come on.
Either. And so it brought up, what does your honey do special for you?
800-447-7234. I know some texts are coming in.
Yes. So Lisa said her honey cleans the bathroom once a week for her because he knows it's her most despised chore.
So he does it.
Yeah. cleans the potty and everything. And then Celeste said she has a shadow box that she keeps.
What's that?
So a shadow box is almost like a frame, but it's deeper. And so you can put things like, I don't know, a locket or a feather.
Oh,
or
I know what you're
whatever.
talking
Yeah.
about. I've seen those, yeah.
And so while he's out, and I don't know what she specifically puts in the shadow box, but he finds things for her that goes in the shadow box.
So he adds to the shadow box.
Yes.
So when you say shadow box, I think boxing. Okay, but that's totally different. All right, that's nice, Celeste. And Diana's along with us, too, at 800-447-7234. What's your hubby do for you, Diana?
So some days he has days off work that I don't have off, so he'll still get up early in the morning before I have to leave, and he'll either make me breakfast or a cup of coffee or both before I leave.
Oh, my.
What's the breakfast consist of? Like, is it toast or is it like the whole thing?
Oh, no, it's like the real deal. I love a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich.
Yeah.
He'll make me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich to take with me when I leave.
So that's better than cereal and toast.
Right.
He goes all out.
But cereal and toast would still be amazing.
It would still be good, but yeah, he's pretty awesome.
How long you been married?
We have been married 10 years.
And he's been doing it
And he
ever
still
since.
does the breakfast in bed thing.
Wow.
He's a keeper, okay?
He's a keeper, for sure.
Mornings with Rob and Liz.
I'm starting to take some notes.
Yeah.
Because the only thing I do is take out trash, clean up after the dog in the backyard, and then put dishes away in the morning. And that's all I do.
To me, the first two, yes, they're nice. It's the dishwasher putting away the dishes.
I do that every morning, yeah.
That is huge. You do it before you come into work, which is super early.
Yeah.
And so when Amy rolls out of bed, she goes downstairs to a clean sink. That, my friend,
Really?
speaks directly to her heart.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I mean, I would think.
I'm going to have to do a men's seminar now. That's all it takes.
Hosted by Rob Dempsey.
Yeah, one note, put dishes away. Boom, you're good.
There you go.
So we're hearing from a lot of people at 800-447-7234 that are chiming in about what their spouse does for them.
Yeah, Ashley says, I'm a mom of 3 special needs boys, and this is huge. Sometimes my husband will let them take care of them so she can take a nap in peace.
Oh, okay, that's good.
That's huge. And then we've got Christy. Christy says she works 3rd shift, and so her husband makes up the bed, turns down her side, and sometimes there's a sweet note there for her.
Oh, dude, stop it.
That's awesome.
All I do is put dishes away.
Like
okay.
it's TMI, but I want to know what the notes
What the
say.
notes say?
Yay.
Oh, my. Katina's along with us. What about you?
Brad and I have been married for, this year is 28 years, and every evening he either has dinner cooked when I'm getting home from supper, for work, or he has a plan for what we're having for dinner. And that is such a blessing for me because he gets off a little bit earlier than I do, and when dinner is cooked and ready, I don't have to worry about what we're going to eat for the family, and we just roll with it. He's such a blessing in my life, and I just have to give a shout out to him and a shout out to the Lord for blessing me with him.
When did he start doing this?
Our work schedules have changed, so earlier in marriage, it was me, and I got home earlier. But he's been doing this for probably the last 5-6 years, and we take turns with the job duties at home, but he's just a blessing, and he's been doing this for years now.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
Corey supports his radio. And Corey will tell you this is why he supports his radio.
I give to his radio because just driving down the road, I can say a simple prayer like, God, I know you got something to tell me today. Please tell me what you need to tell me. And the next song will come on. And it's like, it's scary, really, because it's just that quick that he tells me what he needs me to know that day. So many songs out there that I relate to with my addiction and being recovered. I don't know if I could have made it without his radio.
That's why she supports his radio.
Wow.
Corey is making such a huge impact in people's lives because she's giving out of her heart. She's received something from his radio, and she's like, I'm giving back, and this is what I'm going to do because his radio is listener supported.
Yeah, and think of the road that she's walked down. And she had God right there with her, as we all do. And she had his radio to kind of support those beliefs as well. And that's the ministry of his radio. But you can give right now. We're going to start our fundraiser on June 22nd, but you can go ahead and give right now. Text the word give to 800-447-7234.
How many Corys can you help out with your gift of support today? Maybe as little as $1 a day. That's a More Than Music mission partner. You can go to the website as well to give that gift right now. You don't have to wait until June 22nd. That's hisradio.com.
Rob and Liz.
His morning crew.
I don't know if you get into any movie series. You know, reoccurring ones. Like, I like Rocky.
Okay.
I've always gotten into Rocky since
Right.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
So that came out in 77. Wow. And they just made another one, a Creed 2 or something like that.
Isn't that wild?
I don't follow Creed like I do Rocky.
I think I've seen both of them. I know the first Creed movie is
It's good.
incredible.
It was good. So I like Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Back to the Future. You know, there's a couple of things that I like to follow.
Mission Impossible, James Bond. I'm all about
You're
that.
into that kind of stuff. What about Jason Bourne?
Love the Jason Bourne
Do
series.
you really?
Yes, I do. Even the Jeremy Renner one.
Mm-hmm.
He's good. I like Jeremy Renner. Nobody can touch Matt Damon as
No.
Jason Bourne.
Might come back. Might come back because there's another Bourne series film, and he'll only come back if the same director of Supremacy, Ultimatum, and Jason Bourne is directing it. That's the only way he'll come back.
Well, it makes sense. It worked. Evidently, they had a good rapport with each other, worked well as star and director. So, yeah. And the product was good.
Yeah, so can it survive, somebody else? Like, I like Jack Ryan, Harrison Ford doing those Jack Ryan.
Yeah, but you know how many stars have played Jack Ryan?
Oh, quite a few.
Yeah,
but
like-
Harrison Ford was the best.
I do think I like Chris Pine. He only had one as Jack Ryan. And then you have John Krasinski that took it over
The
for
series.
Amazon. Right. Which
Yeah.
is good. It's just,
It's not the movie.
it's heavy.
It's
It's
not the movie. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Yeah,
So if
there
you know a Jason Bourne fan,
That's me.
we'll see. Okay, well then, I just informed Liz.
Thanks.
His morning crew.
There were some fishermen in Hawaii that decided, okay, we're going to go out. We're going to make a big catch. And we've got a focus of where we want that catch to go. I'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
So they go out, and there's a couple of them, and they reel in a yellowfin tuna.
That's probably pretty big.
Yeah, 220 pounds.
That is a pretty big
That's
tuna.
a large tuna.
It's
And
the chicken of the sea.
look, is it?
Yes.
I don't think that's what they put in the cans. But anyway, it's worth like $4 a pound.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty nice.
Right. So you're looking at over $900 for this yellowfin tuna. So what they decided to do, they wanted to catch lunch for healthcare workers.
Oh well, nice.
They sent it to a guy who cleaned it, who cooked it, and who made it into, am I saying it correctly, poke bowls. Is it pokey or poke?
Oh, that's Pokemon.
No, it's something completely different.
Okay.
Poke bowls, and they were able to feed, over 300 people at the Straub Medical Center and Queens Medical Center in Hawaii.
Nice.
And a TV show in Hawaii even filmed the entire thing so that they could air it. It actually aired this week in
Okay.
Hawaii. But they were inspired by one of the guy's grandfathers who was doing this on a much smaller scale. He would catch and then give that catch to others who were hungry or were working on the
good
front
for
lines.
him.
Yeah. 220 pounds of yellowfin
So
tuna.
Grandpa's legacy is living on,
Exactly.
and these two guys
Yeah.
that just happened to catch a real big fish
Yeah.
and then fed it to the healthcare
Yeah.
workers.
In a poke bowl,
Yeah.
which I have no idea. I honestly have never had one, but
a poke bowl?
yeah.
Okay. Ian, TJ, chime in.
I've had it. It ain't bad.
But what's it like?
what is it? That's
It's
the question.
it's basically like a sushi ball.
I was going to say, is it deconstructed sushi?
Yeah, that's
Kind
basically
of.
all it is.
It's basically just the raw fish and some edamame mixed in and stuff like that.
Okay,
stuff
they
I
got,
get.
I
they
do
got
like
way too-
edamame.
See, I'm not that cultured. You just went way over my head. If it's not a burger, I don't know what this edamame thingy is.